A train derailment in Pike County today, apparently caused by a significant mudslide, injured 2 railroad employees and caused a major fire. I was out at the scene this morning while the wreckage was still burning. Their train derailed just before 7 a.m. Thursday morning near the Pond Creek area of Draffin, across from Ratliff Bottom. It was traveling southbound along the Levice Fork of the Big Sandy River when, according to officials, it struck a significant mudslide that had covered the tracks with mud and rock. The lead locomotive of the train plunged into the Levice Fork. 3 locomotives and 5 of the train's 98 cars, including 4 of the train's 96 tanker cars loaded with ethanol, derailed and caught fire. Local emergency officials called for some evacuations in the area.
2 of the tank cars were breached in the derailment and lost their cargo, which started to burn. And the diesel fuel from the locomotives that spilled were also burning. So we had a pretty good fire this morning, and there was a couple of other tank cars that were involved in the derailment that were impinged upon by the fire. And we had concerns about those possibly exploding, and we evacuated the small area around the crash site.
A local resident described hearing the crash and seeing the fire ignite. He also described the feeling of helplessness as he watched 2 men beg for rescue from the flames and the swollen river.
The train whistle woke me up, which I usually hear it at Pond, which it woke me up right here behind the house. And then immediately after, it sounded like a tornado was ripping through the loud, very loud rumbling. And the fire woke. I seen the fire and knew immediately what happened. The 2 workers come out on the front of the engine and was asking us for help. I mean, there's nothing really you can do with the water. It's real gut wrenching right there. They're asking you for help, and you want to help, but there's not a thing you're going to do to help them. The Millard Rescue Team come in and with their boat, got them off. We watched the two workers get off the front of the engine and actually wade through the water to the bank away from the fire, and the boat picked them up right over there. Oh, that's a sigh of relief. Once I seen them get off the front of the engine, and they were both walking, they were both alive, both walking. They got on the bank. Approximately the same time they got on the riverbank, the boat coming down through here. It's just a sigh of relief. Hey, they're going to make it. It's a miracle that they're alive today.
The train crew members, whose names have not been released, were taken to Pikeville Medical Center for treatment of non-life-threatening injuries after being rescued by the Millard Fire Department. The train's wreckage continued to burn for hours after the derailment. Local, state, federal, and railroad officials converged on the scene to begin investigating the crash.
The fire has pretty much burnt itself out. Railroad crews are on the scene. National Transportation Safety Board is on their way to do an investigation along with the Federal Railway Administration, who's already on scene. There's other investigators and hazmat people from CSX on their way there. Some have already arrived.
Other than the train's engineer and conductor, there were no other injuries associated with the derailment. In a statement issued by CSX, the railroad says the safety of the surrounding community, first responders, and the railroad's crew members is the top priority. The railroad deployed its environmental response team to the area to assist with the response. Now, another issue associated with the derailment is how it could affect local water supplies. The wreck happened just upstream from the intakes for Mountain Water District at Regina, and the Levice Fork also feeds the water supply for the city of Pikeville and for Southern Water District. Officials tell me that the intakes for Mountain Water District and Pikeville were shut down shortly after the derailment to prevent any fuel intake. The Kentucky Division of Water allowed the intakes for Mountain Water and Pikeville to resume operations Thursday evening. A determination on Southern Water District was set to be made later Thursday.
The 2 men, they've been waiting a while. The rescue team went by, but I believe they're tired of waiting. They're already in the river. One's trying to climb around the front on the left-hand side to see if he can I think they're getting worried it's going to explode. Come on, boat. Come on, guys, don't give up. They're moving. There's two of them. They look to be. The flames. It's coming! I'm worried about the boat not coming. I think so, don't blame them. Everything's on fire. The diesel fuel's in the river. They're trying to go around the left-hand side. Can't imagine. Terrible. They know more about the engine than us, and they be worried it's going to explode. One's dropping down into the river, it looks like. Water's got to be cold. Come on, boat. He's going. He's getting in. Must be too cold for him. Flames are getting closer and closer to him.
But don't we stand hurry. Get out of there. Don't stand hurry and get out of there.
The response to Thursday's major train derailment and fire in Pike County continued today. Crews worked in the area in preparation of removing the damaged rail cars and locomotives left behind by the crash. Some areas of the wreckage continue to smolder, and diesel fuel spilled in the Russell Fork River was still burning this morning before noon. Pike County Emergency Management Director Doug Tackett said local emergency agencies have mostly completed their response, and the derailment and the scene is now mostly in the hands of railroad operators CSX. The train was hauling ethanol when it crashed into a major landslide and derailed early Thursday morning. The lead locomotive of the train crashed into the Russell Fork River. The other locomotives and several cars piled up at the scene and caught fire. The 2 members of the train's crew were injured in the crash and had to be rescued from the massive blaze and the swollen river by the Millard Fire Department's swift water rescue team. No other injuries were reported in the wreck. A total of 3 locomotives, 4 ethanol cars, and a car hauling sand derailed. Local officials have said local water systems, including Mountain Water District and the city of Pikeville, were not adversely affected by the derailment.